tell the story of how we met. I'm
Yeah.
new to California, so I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we happened to be at the Wente Winery. I took a couple, my brother and his girlfriend and a couple of friends here. We love to go to wineries. We like the wine, but I usually try to pair my wine with music, and your band was playing, and I don't know how I got started talking to your mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then as soon as she found out that we were Brazilian, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden you were playing a Brazilian song. So like the whole Brazilian energy was flowing through the place as the 49ers were playing. So
That's
that
right.
was a pretty amazing experience. But tell us about yourself, how old you are, where you're from, and how you got started in music.
Yeah. Yeah. That I just want to say that was fun, and yeah, I love Brazilian music. Yeah, Brazilian music is one of my favorites, and
You're in
but
the
yeah,
right place then.
yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm 24 years old. I'm from Livermore, California. Here, been growing up in the Bay Area my whole life. I started playing music when I was about 9, but before that, I was exposed to a lot of different types of music. My parents would show me blues, rock, pop, classical music, a little bit of jazz here and there. And so when I picked up a guitar at 9, it felt sort of natural to me. I had heard the sounds all my life, and I just wanted to make it happen on the guitar.
So you actually had a little bit of academic background in your career.
Mm-hmm. Yes. After I graduated high school, I went to a community college, Las Positas College, and I decided that I wanted to be a music major because I originally wanted to, just go and play music, go on tour, not go to school. But I decided I wanted to go to college to get a more of a formal education. And I went there for, I think, 3 years, and I studied guitar, composition, theory, and singing, so vocals too. And after that, I went to a school in Berkeley called the California Jazz Conservatory on a scholarship, which was very, very nice. And I spent a year there studying jazz, and jazz, swing music, a lot of Brazilian music. I had a teacher there named Marco Silva, and he's amazing. He was music director for Ayrton and Flora Pruim, and Ayrton Moreira.
Moreira.
Moreira, yeah.
Yeah, I actually interviewed. I saw him live in Pittsburgh.
Oh, his music is amazing. Yeah. And so, yeah, I do have about 4 or 5 years, I think 5 years of education in music.
That's awesome. You're such a good musician. And I'm looking here on your website, Lucas Sanchez Music,
Uh-huh.
and you have the new EP, the Lucas Sanchez, that you are
Yeah.
pretty excited about. So
Okay, right
tell
here.
us about that. That's exciting. So was that a pandemic baby?
It's sort of a hybrid between pandemic and non-pandemic. So I started recording it last year around August, I think, August or September. And it's my first release ever. So I've never recorded anything that I wanted to release in like a studio. So I started recording it in August, and then it started going along further and further. And I just, um, before everything was done, the pandemic hit, and I still had all this stuff to finish on the album. And so with all the free time that I got from not having to do gigs or not having to, not being able to go anywhere, I basically did the whole production side. I had it mixed, I had it mastered, I got the graphic design done. I didn't do it, the graphic design. I had somebody else do it. And
But you were very involved in each step of the process.
oh yeah, absolutely. I had to reach out, every day, make sure that things were happening and the ball was rolling.
And how did you get the inspiration for the songs? And I'm gonna read the title. So you're releasing, the first one that you're releasing is Don't Know What You Don't Know. That's a pretty cool song. And
Oh,
then you have Moonlight Tango, Dreaming, Wind, Howling at the Moon, and When Are You Coming Home? Are those all your compositions?
yep. Those are all my compositions. Um, I actually most of these songs. So I had a band back in high school called Truth Without Fear, and we played when I was in college as well. And I actually wrote the majority of those songs. I think Moonlight Tango, Don't Know What You Don't Know, Dreamin', and Wind. I wrote those songs for that band. So I even started writing those back in high school. And so, as far as inspirations on them, it's kind of hard to remember. I guess just whatever was going on in my life or whatever I was observing in the world. Don't Know What You Don't Know is interesting because uh, that one I remember writing about. I think it had to do with me going to school and going to the jazz conservatory. So when I started going to school, I just had no idea about music theory, and I had been playing guitar for a while, but all of the music theory, composition, and history I had no idea about, and had no idea how big and how much of a challenge it would be for me to learn all of that stuff. And so I just was thinking, hey, you don't know what you don't know. You gotta go find out.
You know what I think about when I hear that song?
What is it?
Food.
Food. Okay.
I love to cook. I love to eat. And, my mom, she's more on the defensive side with food. And I've been getting this food delivery service where they like the prepackaged meals. So there's always something, a dressing, a topping, a seasoning new in there. And that makes me very excited. But my mom is very defensive. So I keep trying to give it to her in small dosages. And I say, Mom, you don't have to like buy it every day, eat it every day, but you don't know if you don't know, but put it in your mouth. And maybe it's not that taste that you're going to like every week, but every 3 months, it's kind of nice to have something different in your mouth.
Yeah, that's a perfect application right there. It can be applied all over. See?
That's I don't know. When I heard the song, I was thinking about food, or maybe I was hungry, Lucas, but that's what came to mind.
No, I think it's perfectly applicable.
All right, so let's take a break and listen to that song, and then we'll come back with you again.
All right, thank you.
Last thing I remember, I was staring at my ceiling. The walls were closing in. I had this funky feeling, this feeling that I never get a chance to break away. But I took that down and I threw it out, 'cause I'm strong enough to say I went down, 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 deep inside my head. I had to find the answers that I wish I never said. And I flew all across the land, searching for a single soul that would give me a helping hand. Well, you don't know what you don't know until you try. Take my hand and follow your soul, 'cause you don't know what you don't know until you try.
All right, and now we're back with Lucas. Tell us how you put the music together on your album. One thing that I find fascinating is, and I was talking to Dan Storper, who's the founder of the Putumayo World Music label. I had an interview with him a few weeks ago. And one of the big things, one of his most important roles is what he calls the sequencing of the songs, which in my head it can be so different. I mean, everybody can come in and put it in a different sequence. So
Hmm.
how do you work? What's the artistic um, expression that you try to portray through the sequencing of the songs?
Right, right. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Every song is different, you know, even if you have the same instruments, you know, they can all be done differently in a million different ways. So when I start writing the song, it's usually just me with a guitar. And so whatever sort of I'll play through that song and I'll try to hear things, different instruments, harmonies, rhythms. I try to hear all that stuff in my head, and then I'll take it to a musician. I'll take it to my drummer, or I'll take it to my bassist, say, hey, let's try this. And so I'll see if it works. But definitely, I think the biggest part is you want to capture the right vibe of the song. You want to capture the right, you know, emotion of it. So I try to do that as much as I can. You know, I don't want to add something in there that sounds too out of place. I try to just trust my instincts and trust my gut.
So in this case, were you pretty happy with the sequencing of songs? And if you're listening to the whole EP as is, what are the types of music that you're listening to from beginning to end? You like blues. I detect that
Yeah,
you like blues a lot, right?
I do. I love blues. I love blues. It's one of my favorite genres because a lot of people I listen to, my inspirations were blues musicians. But yeah, as I listen to the songs, and it's the first time, it's so cool because it's the first time I've ever got to put them together like I've been hearing them in my head. And I am very happy with how it turned out. Um, the types of music, yeah, there's a lot of it. People ask me sometimes, you know, what genre do you play? And I have a tough time answering that because there's so many different genres in there. Like, you know, with Moonlight Tango, it's got like sort of a Latin feel, but it's also rock, and it's also sort of fusion, like with all the percussion. And then Don't Know What You Don't Know is like got that funk vibe to it because I also love funk. And yeah, just a lot of different. Howlin' at the Moon has got like folk, sort of folk acoustic type of, well, there's acoustic near the middle and the end, and more singer songwriter. And then the last one, you know, When Are You Coming Home, is definitely solo, got a whole different vibe, you know, more intimate.
It must be a lot of fun. I love fusion. My radio show Global Jinga is all about world music, and we believe that quality music comes in all languages, sounds, colors, and I find it fascinating when an artist can actually do that in one song. In fact, I was listening to a new release. It's a new cover of an old song called Color Esperanza. And so there are a lot of musicians, interpreters on this song. I don't know if they're doing a fundraiser, but if you listen, I'll send it to you. It's really
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
because it's like every few seconds, it goes into a different genre.
Wow.
Amazing. It's
That's
it's
amazing. Yeah.
really great. Yeah, I love when that happens. I love the whole fusion. And what are some of the musicians that influence you heavily, or maybe the ones that influenced you early in your career and influence you now?
Yeah. So many influences, so many. First, before I even started singing, I didn't start singing until I was in like high school, the middle of high school, but I was just a guitar player, and all I did was just play guitar. And I had influences like Joe Satriani, uh, you know, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton. Those guys were big. BB King. And then as I started getting more into vocals and songwriting, I started listening to more like John Mayer, The Police, Sting, Stevie Wonder. And then after that, when I got into college, you know, I would turn to the classical heroes like Beethoven, Bach, Debussy, Ravel. Um, Mahler. I love Gustav Mahler. His symphonies are my favorite. So a lot of different influences.
Those are from the past. Are they your current, or you would consider them all the same because you've had such a short career because you're so young?
I would say like somebody like Joe Satriani is like my first influence, and I still listen to him and I still love his music. Um, but now I'm listening to more like singer songwriter, but with fusion. Like I love fusion, sort of like a Dave Matthews Band. I love Dave Matthews Band because the music is just so superb, and his songs are they really resonate with me. Same with like John Mayer. So John and Dave are sort of my current influences right now.
How about in the Brazilian scene? Who are your top
Oh man,
influences?
well, one of my favorite guitarists right now, and ever, is this guy named Chico Pinheiro. And I met him when I was going to the jazz conservatory. He actually lives in New York, but he was in town. And
Yeah, I met him too. In fact, I have one of his albums. I think I met him in Pittsburgh.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he's an amazing guitar player. I love Chico. And he's an amazing composer too. And of course, Jobim, Antonio Carlos Jobim, one of my favorites of all time. His compositions are you can't nobody can copy that because they're so good. Águas de Marco, Chega de Saudade, some of my favorites.
Yeah, yeah, those are classics.
Ayrton as
Bossa
well.
Nova is awesome. Everywhere I travel around the world, I always hear Bossa Nova.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's everybody loves bossa nova.
Yeah, every musician who is playing guitar like you around town, there seems to be a time when Bossa Nova is going to become part of the repertoire.
Yeah, and I actually had another teacher at the conservatory, a guy named Ian Facchini, and that's all we worked on, just the proper rhythms for bossa nova, samba, choro, baião, frevo, and
Wow, you know a lot of words. That's amazing.
hey, well, I love to learn.
Yeah, that's awesome. What have been your challenges in your career here in the Bay Area?
Some of my challenges, well, I guess one of the, but obvious, of course, the COVID-19. But aside from that, over the years, it's sort of been hard to find the right fits for band members. So, and even when you do find the right fit, they might not be as dedicated as I was looking for, because I have a dream, and I want to share that dream with anybody who wants to come with me, but a lot of musicians that I've worked with, they have different priorities, and that's absolutely, that's absolutely fine. But then, I have to keep searching. And so that's been kind of a challenge, although I think I definitely have found some good matches right now. The guys on the CD are my favorite musicians that I've ever worked with. And so that's one of the challenges. I guess another one for me that's more current would be like sort of leaving my comfort zone, and going out in the world and just exploring.
And I want to read here from your website for your musical philosophy. You say, I play music because I love music, and I feel strongly that creating and playing music is what I was born to do. Music is a gift to everyone and a force of nature that can change the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel that you change the world one concert at a time?
I mean, when it comes to music has the power to take you away. Music and, well, art in general, but it has the power to, whatever sort of, if you're feeling sad or you're feeling down, music has the power to sort of lift you up and bring you to another place just for a moment. And through my concerts, I just want to bring people into a space like that, to where they can forget all their problems and just enjoy. So that's why I like making music.
Yeah, I agree. I guess that's why we're talking now, because of one concert we made a connection, and here we are.
Yeah, the personal connections are definitely another reason, that music is everywhere.
Now, tell me something. Tell me if I am correct in my observation here in the Bay Area, but Livermore has a very huge live music scene within the wineries. And one of the reasons why I'm falling in love with the wineries here in our area is because they pair the wine with music and they support the live music scene. So under normal circumstances, you'd be able to see live music, drink wine, you bring your own food to the winery. And
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to spend time, and you're outdoors, and the landscape is beautiful. The service, the staff, the wine industry people are so friendly. That's another reason why I love it. Do you notice that? And I guess because I've seen you in a winery, and I know that you perform at wineries, is it more typical to perform in wineries, or are they more, do they embrace live music more in other areas?
I would say that here in Livermore, the wineries are basically the number one place for musicians to perform. There are a few other spots, a couple bars downtown or a couple restaurants that do welcome music, but the wineries are definitely the biggest champion for the musicians.
Yeah, I was in a music conference about a month ago, and just had lots of people from labels, artists, and technology people who are launching technologies in the music industry. And the conclusion that everybody was coming to is that in the near future, we're going to see more of the live music in outdoor open settings.
Yeah.
And I think wineries are a perfect place for that, because they have the space. They typically have a lot of outdoor space. So are you getting contacted by winery? Do you think that might be the future now, if you want to enjoy live music?
I think locally, yeah, definitely that's the way to do it now, is just outdoors. And a lot of wineries do have a lot of space for this sort of outdoor scene. And that's personally one of my favorites. I love playing outdoors when the weather is right, of course, because sometimes it can be a little hot or too windy. But when the conditions are right, playing outdoors is definitely ideal.
Yeah. And I noticed I've gone to Napa now 3 times, and they don't have as much live music there. So I think we are blessed here in our area. I'm closer to the Sarasota Wine Trail, or Saratoga. I always get the Florida and California mixed up. It's near me, and they do, not all of them have live music, but a lot of them do. So it's been really great. And is there anything else that you would like to talk about that we haven't talked, for people who are going to be listening to your new album? I know it's already on Spotify and some of the other platforms, and it's on your website.
Yeah, I just want to, you can find these hard copies. They're up on my website, and I'll be selling them through there and shipping them. And I guess one thing I would say, if I could send a message to other musicians out there and people who love music, just stick with it, keep strong. And you were asking me about my inspirations, and I think another one of my inspirations is like what's going on with the world. So like a lot of social justice or events that are happening, I think we should use those for our art as well.
Yeah, we all have the power to transform in some way, shape, or form. We just need to have the vision, and obviously the dedication, the moving the vision to action. And some people do it through music. Like you, I think I do it through my radio show, as I try to bring music from all over the world and really show people that we're really not that different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you listen to our music and you go to different parts of the world, you're gonna hear pieces that are gonna remind you of something from home, and you realize, you know, we're so close. It's okay. It's fun to get along.
Yeah, absolutely. We should all be trying to get along because we're all very similar.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time here on Global Jinga on KZSU 90.1 FM. I wish you all the best. I hope we can see you live sometime soon this summer. And if not, we'll just continue with the virtual connection.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Have a great day, Lucas. Bye-bye.
Bye.